Well, hello and welcome to the channel. My name's Tel, and today we're going to be looking at an Amiga A500. What we're going to be doing is changing the way that we use the disk drives and also substituting an existing Cuman external disk drive with a Gotek. A Gotek is a solid state floppy disk drive emulator which allows you to use digital media on a USB stick rather than the old conventional floppy disk drives. We're also going to install a boot switcher. What that means is we'll be able to boot from external drives, which the Gotek will be put into, as well as the internal one. So what I'm going to do is first show you what we've got on the bench. So this is my Amiga. I've already taken the top off it. So there's a number of screws that are here, here and here on the top. There's a couple here. There's a couple here. And then there's a shield which goes on top. And these tabs are then bent down over the top of that, and all the screws are put back. So one of the things that you find with an Amiga is you'd really like to use digital games on something like a USB rather than using a floppy disk media. So one of the ways you can do that is to put a Gotek in. You could in fact put a Gotek in here where the existing disk drive sits. One of the things that you can do is to use an external disk, and here I've got an old case which contained a Cuman disk drive that was absolutely knackered, no good at all. So I thought, why not use this? This would be really good. So inside of there is just a blank receptacle really, and yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a Gotek in there. The problem is you can't boot off the existing external drive unless you do something special. So what I did was I went out and bought this floppy boot selector switch. Okay, and all it really does is swap the select lines around. You can pick this up for about 15 quid on eBay or some other sort of online market vendor, and it goes into this complex interface adapter there, which deals with, amongst other things, it deals with the floppy disk drive selection for both the external and the internal. So what we want to do is turn the external one into select 0, which is effectively this one, at the flick of a switch. And that's what this does for us. So the first thing to do is to remove this interface adapter here. So what I normally do, because I don't want to break anything, is I use a toothbrush, make sure the power's off obviously, and just prise it underneath this. Find a lever point somewhere on the board. Don't break any buttons. As you can see, this is coming up. Oh, there we go. Hopefully I haven't bent any pins. Looks alright. And then we need to get this, actually not that way around, that's the right way around, because that's pin 1 there, it says so. It says so, so I believe it, but what I'll do is I'll actually just select, I try and insert this into this socket and push it into here. If I can get it in, this is a bit tough, isn't it? This is a bit tough, is it in right? I think it is. That is tight. That is really, really, really tight. Right, I need to make sure that this is firmly pressed down here. So let's just hope I don't break anything. So this will go on this end. I've drilled a little hole there, as you can see, ready for the switch. So if we take off this, it's a little nut there. And then you get a little locator lug. So I've chiseled a hole on one part of the hole that I've drilled to locate it. We need to just put this in. So this needs to go around here. And I need to find a way of... And I just need to manage it into the hole really. And yeah. So I just turn the machine around a little bit so I can start adding the... If I can just show you on the camera where it comes in, just to the left of the label there. I don't think that's right. So I need the star washer, I hope, actually goes in behind the plastic. And hopefully I might just be able to get that through. Then we put on the locator lug. And then, yeah, it's shot across the floor actually. It's taken me a little while to find it, but I found it now, and I'm just trying to reassemble not reassemble, but assemble the switch in the hole. So yeah, let's just get this in. So it's a fairly straightforward mod really. It's and tight now. I can try and bring this back into camera range. Right, so let me bring this forward a bit so you can see down there. So as you can see, this comes through here, but there's enough space to get it through in between this bit of metal here and that one. So hopefully that will complete this part of the installation. I'll need to put that back in. The power for the internal drive. So this is the Gotek. Right, you can pick these up for about, I don't know, £50, £60, something like that. So I bought this cheap. But I also bought a OLED kit to go with it. And the OLED kit to go with it comprises of the OLED screen itself and also this rotary selector. So that allows you to press it to go in or out of directories and then select the items. You'll see that at a later point. I've used quite a few of these in other, not in Amiga, but in BBC, the BBC Acorn BBC B. So it's fairly straightforward. You've got that same 40-way connector, IDC connector there, and +5 and ground. Those are the two things you need. So we need to pick that up off the external drive. Let's have a little look at the external drive case for the Cuman drive that plugs into the back of the A500, Amiga A500. CAX354. Yes, probably about 30 years old, 35 years old or something like that. It's got some holes in there for the locating or securing the old Cuman drive, I assume. Right, so that's the lid. Leave that to one side for the moment. Won't put that back together until we know this is working. The cable coming out of the back of it is a 23-pin D-type connector going into the back of the Amiga. There it goes into there. So we've got this little circuit board here with a standard 40-pin IDC connector. And so these were soldered connections, but I put in this little header and a couple of little cables, which I got from my Arduino cable set. So we'll just connect it in via that. I think that's the easiest thing. So I think we need to turn the power off actually, and then plug in that one there, which is 5 volts, and this one, which is 0 volts. On the Cuman drives, I think we also had 12 volt on there, but we don't need that with the Gotek because it only requires 5 volts. So this will sit in the case like so. I think it's probably wise if we just put a screw in there. Let's just put them both in, damn it. Might as well. Might as well. At least it will be stable in there. Even if it doesn't work, I'm sure it will. Right, okay. The switch on the back is set to up. So that means it's going to try and boot from this drive here. So what I'm expecting to happen, if I just... This is my Workbench 1.32. So I'll stick this in here, and hopefully if I haven't broken it by all these mods, when I switch it on we should see the green light come on there, show us the power's there, and then we should see and probably hear, hopefully, some disk activity. You can hear it's doing something, and the orange light's on, so there's activity there. I haven't got it connected up to a screen at the moment, but I just wanted to make sure this is doing something. It's faint, but I can actually hear the disk activity, and hopefully you can. It's taking ages, so it's definitely booting up. Okay, so what I need to do is go and find or create a USB with some games on it from somewhere, or borrow it from somebody. So I'm going to pause the video momentarily, and then I'll come back. It may seem that I've only been away for seconds, but it really isn't seconds at all. So I've got this off somebody, and apparently it's got some games and utilities on it. So I'm going to plug it in, and it's aware that it's connected. So if we have a look on there, I wonder if you can see this. Yeah, I don't know what's in there really. Oh, it's got some games in it. Super Space Invaders. Well, I suppose we could try that. Right, so what I'll try and do is I'll turn the boot switch around the other way, and it's now, yeah, so let me do a Control AA. Yes, you can see that, look, it's booting. I don't know what's going on the screen, if anything, but let's try something different. Let's come out of there. Super Space Invaders. Space Invaders. OMG, Leisure Suit Larry. Butterflies in Space. Arkanoid. Right, let's try that. Is it going to boot? Yep, it certainly is. I can see it searching through the tracks. So it looks like it's working. I've got no idea what's going to be on the screen. Obviously Arkanoid. But will it actually work? Who knows? So this little rotary thing here, you can press it down to click on a directory or to click on an item or to come back out of a directory. Or you can just choose the utility or game or whatever it is. So on the face of things, this looks as if it's probably working, but what I now need to do is configure it so we can see a video output. Alright, so it's not the ideal camera angle and setup, but what I'm going to do now is switch this to the up position. That's the switch for the boot selector, and let me just reboot the system. We should see the workbench 1.3.2 come up. And there we go. I don't know what's come up with an out of range error on there, so we just cancel it. Must be a duff disk, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, suffice to say, it's booting off the floppy disk. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick the switch over now. I'm going to go to Amiga Test Kit, which is a group of things you can use to test the memory and stuff like that. So let's just do that. And that is on. Sorry, the Amiga Test Kit is on. I don't know if you can see that Amiga Test Kit. Right, so that's what's selected, and we're in position 2, which is the down position. And I'm going to do a Control Double Amiga. And we should see this come up now in the program on Gotek Floppy Emulator. So we can just keyboard test, and I can press some keys like that. You can see that working. And escape out of that. Control plus Alt. There we go. We can do a quick memory test. See how that's going. So we got one megabyte of total memory. So let's just do a custom range, I think. Let's do a custom range. So there you go. That's proof that this mod is working, and it's proof that I'm able to run programs off the Gotek, and I think I'll call that a win, wouldn't you? Brilliant. So now I can download all the programs that are legitimate programs, obviously, in their ADF file format, the internet, and I'll be able to run them off the Gotek rather than hunting around for floppies and stuff like that. So this is very good, and I'm really happy with this. I'll be able to do all the things that I wanted to do now. Right, so if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you're not subscribed, hang a like, and I will see you next time. It's gonna be alright.